When we talk of ghost cities, you might imagine a city once thriving and full of life, but now abandoned or deserted. But China's ghost cities are brand new cities which were never populated. So much so that you may hardly find a trace of life, almost resembling haunted places. Generally, countries build, develop, or upgrade their cities in accordance to their population. But China, as we know, walks a different road. It first develops entire cities, spends millions on lavish architecture, designing, planning, and maintenance, and then waits for people to settle in. The spectacular rise of China's real estate sector was based on three factors. The construction boom, which started around late 1990s, was built on a mountain of debt. Local officials seized huge swaths of land for redevelopment because building vast towns from the ground up was a simple way for politicians to artificially boost economic growth while they were in office and secure a lucrative promotion in Beijing. Because of very unstable stock exchange market and hardly any options to invest overseas, the real estate market was one of the most preferred options for household investments. With homeowners and real estate developers both willing to take loans from the banks, properties were quickly brought up by homeowners who had no plans to move in. This drove up prices and caused a huge real estate bubble and enormous uninhabited communities. In their quest to develop aesthetic, appealing infrastructure to lure the growing segment of population which had a newly found power and wealth at its disposal, China turned to mimicking exorbitant and lavish architectural styles from world over. As if fake goods and products weren't enough for them, China has also created duplicated versions of various cities of France, Italy, London, and many other European cities. What China copied was not just few famous architectural marvels from around the world, but entire cities. For example, the Paris-inspired Tiananmen with a replica of Eiffel Tower is developed to look like Paris. Till date, it remains very sparsely populated. An entire district inspired by Interlaken in Switzerland, which also houses a man-made lake. Tianjin, an ambitious design complete with fountains and mosaics, very similar to Florence of Italy. Suzhou, built to resemble London's Tower Bridge. Tianjin, copied to look like Manhattan. England inspired Songyan. Amsterdam inspired Pudong. These are just a few examples. Most of these towns have been deserted and are now gathering dust. Each city spans across hundreds of square kilometers. The replicas of cities have very low or almost no residents, soon became perfect venues for weddings, photo shoots, or film sets. Many of the cities have world-class architecture, skyscraper, swanky public plazas, stadiums, museums, plush malls, government buildings, well-connected roads, ultra-modern amenities, and a variety of public spaces. Ghost cities in China have it all. Just one crucial element is missing: the people. One of the biggest and most well-known ghost cities, the Kangbashi area of the city of Ordos in Inner Mongolian region of China, was built to accommodate about 3 lakh persons. But for many years, only about 2,000 people lived there. This is merely the tip of the iceberg. In urban areas, many wealthy people own multiple houses. The rate of home ownership in China is over 90%, the highest among all major countries. The vacancy is about 20% higher than the United States and even Japan. As we see, the relationship between supply and demand is totally imbalanced. There's a point to be noted that despite that the fact that China's nominal GDP is only 70% that of the US, land prices are more than double. Due to an excess of vacant homes on the mainland of China, millions of units stay unoccupied, which could cause prices to drop even more. According to the BRI research, the average vacancy rate on the Chinese mainland is 12.1%. This is much higher than the UK, where only 0.9% of properties are unoccupied. The percentage is 11.1 in Australia, which we can see is very close to China, and 9.8 in the US. According to government statistics, there are around 400 million homes in total on China's mainland. So 12.1% vacancy amounts to around 50 million unoccupied homes. To add to that, China builds record 15 million homes every year. According to some estimates, there are around 65 million empty homes. Some analysts believe that the number can be as big as 90 million.
There are 50 million unoccupied homes in China today. These homes were built, they were bought, but no one lives in these homes. This is according to one report. But a research firm in London has put out its own estimates. They claim the numbers are much higher. There could be 100 million homes unoccupied in China today, and that is the big problem. There are more homes than people who need them.
And as I said earlier, most of these properties are acquired through bank loans. China's household debt was expected to be around 10 trillion by the middle of 2022. A staggering 27% of these bank loans in China are tied to real estate. The largest Chinese real estate developer, Evergrande Group, alone has $300 billion in debt with 1.6 million undelivered apartments. So if the real estate was to contract by 20%, it would have a huge and immediate negative impact on China's economy. In January last year, Evergrande faced a huge backlash from home buyers, investors, and even its own employees, demanding their money back and their salaries. And China had a hard time preventing the debt crisis from flaring up social unrest. Evergrande currently, as we know, is undergoing its worst ever crisis, but let's leave that discussion for another day and focus on the main topic. China has taken a number of measures to support the real estate industry, including banks reducing long-term loan interest rates by a record amount in an effort to lower mortgage costs and promote credit demand. While other countries were increasing their interest rates to deal with COVID economic slump, the People's Bank of China effectively lowered the initial mortgage interest rate for first-time homebuyers to 4.4% from 4.6%. The deep recession in China's property market compelled real estate companies to come up with most bizarre marketing strategy to attract more buyers. They started accepting payments for homes in watermelons, wheat, or even garlic.
Property developers in China are out of cash. They're so desperate that they're selling property for wheat. You heard that right. In China, property dealers are resorting to an unheard of barter.
While another promised to give the buyer a Mercedes-Benz with the purchase of a villa. One developer even offered to accept garlic as part of the down payment. While among property developers, they're advertising free gifts with a home purchase. Some have gone to even more creative measures. For example, one company is giving out an actual pig, while another is offering job opportunities.
In some cases, after the contracts were signed, developers began to face financial difficulties, resulting in a delay of the delivery of properties. As a result, the buyers who could not afford to pay their mortgage and rent on the two separate properties were left with no choice but to shift into their unfinished apartments.
我们只是这个倾尽全家的这个积蓄，
是吗？
在这买了一套房，到现在我们5年了住不上，实在是受不了了。
When we stood up for our rights, we were harassed by the police several times. I don't understand why I am considered to be a bad citizen just because I bought an unfinished apartment. What can I say? All I can do is wait.
只能等吧。你看我这个现在风扇就可以转嘛。
甚至101 So we have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old sleeping here, and this is some clothes hanging up.
Was supposed to be delivered in June 2021.
This is where I live now.
40 square meters for 45,000 euros for these Spartan living conditions. He gets by with the help of fellow homeowners.
One of my neighbours is an electrician, so he managed to wire up some of the rooms so we could have a bit of power, but it's only enough for some light to charge our phones and basic devices.
There's no running water either, just rainwater tanks.
China's real estate market went from bad to worst by the end of year 2022. And the government began dismantling tower blocks and stopping construction on the existing towers as the country's economy started to suffer and indebted Chinese developers faced an existential crisis. The demolition drive was so huge that it could house almost 75 million people. This is more than the entire population of United Kingdom. Many more such deserted and unfinished structures await their fate to be demolished or occupied by inhabitants. Subsequently, Beijing chose a build, pause, destroy and repeat approach to limit supply, prevent a decline in house prices and increase economic activity through new development. China has announced a special loan program for developers worth 200 billion Chinese yuan to assist finish the unfinished homes that have already been sold. But analysts are skeptical if this will aid the economy, despite increased political support. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel if you like our content.